And you cannot have gratitude without joy. And you cannot have joy without gratitude. But you can't celebrate without music, the first language of our lives.
Welcome to Women's Thrive Podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast episode. Your host, Raymond Jan. I'm excited to have you here for today's episode with one of our special guests. And today we're talking about joy, gratitude, and music therapy and how it can heal trauma. Now, my special guest today, she is an incredible woman who I've had the opportunity to get to know over the last few months. And she has something quite unique to bring to the table. Well, hello, Nio. Good to see you today.
A pleasure to see you too.
I'm excited for us to get to know you and for our audience to get to know the story of Nio. So Nio Queiro is an award-winning author, speaker, board member, strategic advisor, and healthcare finance professional. She's an executive leadership coach, and she was named one of the top 25 innovators of 2021 by Modern Healthcare. Nio is also an unstoppable force in the healthcare industry and an innovator in music therapy. And today we're going to get to know just a little bit more about her story, as well as our new exciting project, which is our Women Thrive Volume 4 book release, where Nio has also authored her story. So Nio, I'd love to get to know a little bit about your background. And I know you have quite an amazing life and quite a colorful life. So I'd love for our audience just to get to know a little bit more about your background.
So I came to America when I was 4 years old from Cuba, with my parents and my brothers. And we came with nothing. And I was given the opportunity to dream. And everything was done through music. My father was a force that he just believed that if you danced and listened to music, everything would be okay. So during the toughest times, I never saw my dad ever get mad. He would just play a song and he says, "You see, now we're smiling." So that's how my love of music started. And I've been able to take it to heal my trauma as I've gone through illness, tough times. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. But most importantly, I'm a person that's here to support others and give them the joy of music because I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for every aspect of life. And you cannot have gratitude without joy. And you cannot have joy without gratitude. But you can't celebrate without music, the first language of our lives. So I've done a lot in my financial and career, but what I'm proud of is the work that I do with others and the way that I can help people embrace music to heal themselves, to find their way in this very difficult world.
And as you say, music is such a universal language, even if you don't speak the language. So now I live in Spain, and I know you speak Spanish, which is your mother tongue, but for me, obviously, Spanish isn't. But yet, the first thing that I did when I came here, wanted to learn music. And this is what unites and Spanish love to celebrate. So whenever we go to any kind of celebrations locally, it's the music that brings people together and makes everyone just happy, no matter what struggles and challenges you might be facing. Music always the thing that lifts you up.
You're so right. I was just on vacation and we were in Turkey, and our driver, he loves hip hop. And it was so funny because he didn't really understand all the words of what he was listening to, but the tone, the beats, the whole movement that it created in him made him come to life. And he says, this is my music for me to be able, in the times that I'm tired, to keep going. And it's so funny how music can actually drive you to keep moving, keep going on when you think you don't have anything else to do.
Amazing. So you mentioned that you've gone through quite a bit of life challenges. I'm just curious a little bit about your journey and also how you ended up in the healthcare industry, because I know you achieved quite a lot in the healthcare industry. So I'm curious about that background.
So when I was 8 years old, my mom was ill and we didn't know what was wrong, but it turned out to be cancer. And I was her translator. And I had to tell my mom that she had cancer. And I was the person that went with her to every single doctor's appointment and helped her through. And as I watched, and I watched how dysfunctional everything was from the patient's perspective, they were so lost. It was a room of people lost, not knowing what was happening next in their lives. I made the decision that I wanted to change and not necessarily be a doctor, which is quite interesting. I was really more focused on the administrative side, the communication, the patient intelligence of knowing how their care process was impacting them. And then just the fact that there were times that my mother was like, I don't think I can go to that therapy because we don't have the money to pay for it. And knowing that there was an avoidance of care because of money. That's what brought me into healthcare finance. And it was a major thing. And that's why I have always focused on patient literacy in healthcare. And that's how I've won innovation awards, is because of my focus of taking a patient so that they can embrace their care. And then it happened to me. There I was, 30 years old, and I ended up finding I had brain tumors. From those brain tumors, went into surgery, had a stroke, had to learn how to walk again, speak again, simple things like eating. I had to reinvent myself with a 9-year-old that you're trying to also raise. And mommy is in a wheelchair.
Wow.
And that's where I understood music healing. And I used music to teach me how to walk again because the beats gave me the ability to put one foot in front of the other in a sequence manner. I used music to help me with movement. I swayed to the music. Now I was able to lift the spoon and put it in my mouth. So I learned that you can use it as a means of safely making you happy, but helping you through your process. Many years later, another 20 years pass, and I'm minding my own business, and I get sick again. And I end up having 2 cardiac arrests and a major surgery. And being lost again, trying to find my way. And music has been my open door to move me from self-silence, because when you're ill, often you stop speaking. You start basically closing up. And music opened my voice.
That's quite interesting. And I'm trying to picture someone going through those experiences. It's quite isolating. And I don't think anyone really understands what it's like to be in that position when once you are healthy, and then usually it's this sudden hit and you're no longer the same. You're going through either pain or severe challenges. And those challenges that you're talking about were pretty serious health conditions that you were going through.
The toughest part is what people don't know when you're sick. The person that's sick has several personas that they're dealing with. They're dealing with the persona that's saying, why is this happening? They're dealing with the personas, I want to take care of my caregivers. I don't want to be an imposition to them. You just, how are you feeling? I'm okay. You don't want them to carry that burden. And then you also want your life back. So there's these three fights that are going inside you. And what happens is you stop being, you just shut down. And that's why illness is such a crippling mental issue. You see, you can always heal the body. You can also get used to a debility. You really can. If I can no longer walk, I can get used to that. But the brain, getting the brain to move past the moment, the incident, the issue, that is the key. That is the true essence of healing. Because when people say healing, it's not about healing from the trauma. It's finding your way back to joy.
So I can imagine, and I know people who have gone through severe depression and emotional struggles because sometimes you're not the same. Like you said, you had to figure out how to walk again, how to feed yourself, how to dress. Those things can really strip away your confidence and your normal sense of self and normal sense of life.
Absolutely. And you have to make that decision. Who do you want to be? The thing about it is, if we really think about it, every day we're a new person. You aren't the person that you were yesterday because every day, hopefully you've learned something or you've gotten rid of something you no longer had use for. However, when we go through trauma, for some reason, we want to get back to the old person. And the question is why? When now you have new information and you have the ability to recreate yourself to anything you want.
What kept you staying positive when the going got tough?
Knowing that life is temporary. The pain, temporary. I'm completely allergic to painkillers. It's not a painkiller that I can use. So when I'm in excruciating pain, that's why music came into my life. I can hone in and move my brain cells to really focus on dopamine from music instead of focusing on the pain. And when you are that person that you are in excruciating pain, and I have chronic pain, you have to be able to really mold your brain. And that's what I focus on. I focus on every single day and everything I do. How do I bring it back to joy and find a new way to embrace joy and gratitude?
Well, in fact, you have written your book on joy and gratitude. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
I'm in 2024, I got the great opportunity to publish my book, and it's called Joy Notes. And Joy Notes is balancing the trauma with triumph. And it's my personal story, but the story of 5 other dynamic women and how it really gives women an opportunity to understand that there is no one formula. You are the author of your own formula as to how you move forward from trauma. But the fact of the matter is, you are built with all the components to make it through. And the book gives a lot of wonderful tips and exciting guidance of how to use music to help you through that process. Every chapter is a musical genre, and there's a playlist that goes with every chapter. And it is exciting because as you're going through reading the book, I actually have gotten accolades. I sway as I read. And it's a really exciting book. I'm so proud of that opportunity. And now I am working on the companion book that's actually the guide as to how you can personally create your joy note, find your triumph using a lot of the guidance that's already in.
Wow, I love that. That's so unique. And I've interviewed a lot of people, I met a lot of people, and whilst music is so accessible to everyone, no one has ever shared their story or their experience, and especially healing with music. So I love that. And I love the experiential and sensory experience of reading a book with music, which is amazing. So we talked a little bit about trauma, and in your newest book, which is part of the Women Thrive collective, we're talking about inspiring true stories of women overcoming adversities. And you very openly shared another chapter of your life in this upcoming book. Tell us just a little bit, without giving away too much, just a little bit about what you have shared in the Women Thrive book.
In the Thrive book, it's actually my own evolution as a writer, as a person. In Joy Notes, I talked about trauma with music and overcoming the initial trauma. In Thrive, I'm talking about moving past resistance and actually adopting the new and celebrating it and understanding that there's more than the overcome. So it's a whole new lens, and it's an exciting lens. And the lens is also an avenue that I talk about what I'm going to do with all this newfound knowledge. And that's what's in the book. So I'm trying to keep it without spoiler alerts.
Well, it is coming out February in 2025. I am thrilled about it because read your story. It's a beautiful story, touching. It does have an element of trauma and despair, but at the same time, the rising above it and finding your way through it. And also the collection of other women's stories within it that are so inspirational and so moving that I know each book that we bring together and collate, they're a story for someone. There's a story for someone to be inspired by. And I'm just super excited that you're part of this particular edition launching this year.
When I have to do a shameless plug, the group of authors in this book are phenomenal. They are phenomenal. They are just incredible women that have overcome just every aspect of life that we as women don't talk about, but they dared to be vulnerable and talk and be victorious with it. So you, audience, you are going to love this book. You are just going to love it.
Yes. And I'm glad that you said that, victorious, and they dare to speak about the things that a lot of times go untold. Many traumas, many different life experiences. And I feel like women often are shamed for some of the experiences that we have had to endure without our own choice, without our own doing. We had endured some pain and struggles, yet we feel shamed, and therefore a lot of these stories not being told. So I'm incredibly proud that we brought together this amazing lineup of women to share their stories. And I know it's going to be a beautiful publication for women to read.
No, I totally agree. And the saddest part is we as women are taught to self-silence, not to tell our story. That we are supposed to, that there is some form of great expectation that a woman should endure. And she should stay quiet, and you are demure if you do not share any hardship. You're supposed to bear it. And reality is that doesn't help. That gives us pain. It gives us illness. And just the fact that women are now freely speaking, we're helping each other. We're shepherding our health. And that's exciting.
Sherry Not Told is Life Not Changed, as one of our speakers, Michelle Watson, said. And so we have the obligation to share our stories so we can help somebody else and hopefully not struggle or suffer in silence. I know you have some really exciting projects coming up and exciting things that you're working on. What's yet to come? What can people expect as maybe they will get to hear this episode, maybe they'll read your story, and they want to follow your life a little bit more, what can they expect in the coming years?
Well, definitely, I ask everyone to keep in touch with NioQueiro.com because a lot of my upcoming events and also projects will be posted there, and you can join the community, which makes it even better. But just launched a podcast. We're in the soft launch in 2025. We're actually doing the big launch. And the name of the podcast is Joy and Gratitude. And its theme is let us help you untangle yourself. And the podcast is not cliches. It's just women speaking truth and going through the different aspects of life as mothers, as women, as professionals that we often go through, but we have nowhere to speak on. So we've created a safe place to do so. Other thing that's happening is, as I said, the companion book to Joy Notes is going to come out around March, Women's Month, because it's the right time. Of course, the launch of the Woman Thrive book, that's coming up in February. But I also have a passion project that I'm in the midst of, and that's creating a course and application to help women be able to use music to curate their own formula to use breath, movement, and music to help them through depression, ADHD, uncertainties, and also anxiety. So I am working with neuroscientists to do so, award-winning Grammy artists, and just really good clinicians. And we're very excited. And that is soon to come, 2025.
Amazing. That's so exciting. I love the app idea that you're working on. I think this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
It's really exciting. And the app will also be supported that if you want to talk to a healthcare professional, you have the ability to do so through the app. So it's not only do you have an application, the idea is to have something that carries you through life. And as you change, the app changes to support you. It's 100% self-curated. No one's is the same because every one of us is.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of being unique and also having unique individual needs, because everybody got perhaps have different struggles or different conditions, and therefore you need different approach. But again, I think music and gratitude, just some of those things that are universal and also accessible to tap into. And I'm glad that you're here to share this as a reminder and perhaps inspiration for someone to say this is possible for you as well, to heal and to have that access to joy, and just reframing your mind, no matter how difficult, challenging your life might be, no matter what you might be facing right now with your health or other areas of your life. Nio, any last parting thoughts with our audience today to just give them a spring in their step as we close out for today's podcast?
Every single day, I do a blog on LinkedIn and I provide a joy note. And it's all different things. Every single day is a little bit different, and it comes from meditation. But with it, I always give a playlist that goes along with the inspirational thought of the day. And today's song, the major song, was Hold Your Head Up High by Darling Side. And if you've ever heard that song, it's inspirational because it starts with music and it starts very calm. And then it basically hugs you. And it lets you know that through it all, you can always hold your head up high. We are unstoppable. Let's join forces in creating a future.
I love that. How do people connect with you?
NioQueiro.com is the easiest way to connect with me. Also connect with me on all social media, Nio Queiro, and on LinkedIn. Please join my daily blog, which is Joy Notes. And I will tell you, you will have so much fun with it because not only does it focus on your professional leadership, but it also focuses on how you can make it through, even when you didn't even have an idea that you had a problem.
I love it. It's those little things that we do every day to adjust our course. It's little, and I know you practice gratitude daily and meditation, and just being inspired by someone like yourself who's been through incredible life challenges. Your life might not started out in the way you imagine it to be, and kind of your childhood were swept away by the health matters of your family. But here you are, so many years later, as an inspiration for others and doing incredible work that you're doing. So there's always a purpose in our life, even if it was painful or challenging or difficult, whatever you have gone through in your life, just know that there is always purpose to your pain. And I think, Nio, you're such an inspirational woman to be an example for somebody who might aspire to do more, be more than what their life adversities has been up to now.
Every day I learn something new and I stay curious. I think that staying curious gives you the ability to be great because you're able to see things in a very different light and the simple becomes meaningful. So I stay very curious. I'm grateful for all the good and the bad because I learn and then I create, I take action, and I shape. And all that brings me joy.
Amazing. To all of our audience, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you do connect with Nio across her social media platforms and her website, and all of the information will be available in our show notes. So go ahead, scroll down and find all the information to connect with Nio. Of course, look out for our upcoming Women Thrive book that's launching in February, and that is volume 4, where Nio has shared her story. And I hope you have enjoyed this podcast episode and you check out other podcast episodes as well. We are doing interview series with our authors from this book, so you can get to know and get behind the scenes of our authors' lives, not just what you get to read on paper about their stories, but also get to really experience their energy, their joy, and get to know a little bit more intimately. Thank you so much for sharing the story today with us and our audience, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you. And remember, joy and gratitude, it makes a difference.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks to all of our listeners today, and we look forward to seeing you again on another episode. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.